And welcome back. Crowd of about 14,000 expected to be on hand tonight. North Carolina State taking on Cincinnati at the RBC Center in Raleigh, North Carolina, in a balmy, wet December day. Welcome back inside. Let's take a look at our Pizza Hut starting lineups tonight. And first off for the Bearcats is Cincinnati. Vaughn, Haritzniak, Williamson. They have started every game. Rashad Bishop, the freshman from New Jersey, getting the start tonight. And Jamal Warren also getting the start, his fourth of the season. We'll tell you more about that in just a couple of minutes. And for North Carolina State, pretty much the same. DeGan, Fells, Grant, Costner, and J.J. Hickson, an outstanding freshman from Marietta, Georgia, Walton High School. Keep an eye on him on number one. Sidney Lowe. I wonder if he's wearing his ring tonight, Dan. Part of the championship team, 1983. Said he was going to wear it this year. He doesn't have it on tonight because his team was ready. Said he didn't wear it in the Davidson game, but he might have to pull it out tonight. Sidney Lowe, the head coach. Mick Cronin, as we talked about, very successful coach. Prior to coming to Cincinnati, he is a native of Cincinnati. Grew up in the same area where Pete Rose, Don Zimmer, coached 3 years at Murray State, 2 NCAA bursts, 2005-06, Missouri Valley Coach of the Year, Ohio Valley Coach of the Year. We're ready for the opening tip. We're underway. Glad you're with us today. One thing that Coach Cronin told us today is he wants to put as much pressure as he possibly can. He thinks that they can get after North Carolina State and force turnovers like they did last year.
Cincinnati in the man-to-man, and you notice NC State really trying to spread the floor to create some room for Hickson to get plays like that. He got out of the double team very effectively because they had a lot of room, and Costner starts it with a big dunk.
The sophomore out of Montclair, New Jersey. And North Carolina State will go into a man-to-man. Haritzniak trying to put a screen on Fells, opens up Vaughn, and he drains the three.
That is good news for Cincinnati. Vaughn is a guy who came out of a couple of game-long struggle with 20 against Memphis, but when he's shooting the ball well, generally the Bearcats' offense is functioning pretty well.
He only shot 29% last year from beyond the arc, 42% this season. Whistle and a foul. You talked about the pass from Hickson. Watch this.
Not a guy known for his assists, only on the season coming in, but that time with the court widely spread, plenty of lanes for people to cut. Cincinnati didn't get over in time with the help, and Hickson with a very nice pass.
Williamson picks up his first personal foul. He got in foul trouble in the first half versus Memphis. A couple of quickies, so right away Coach Cronin sets him down, brings in Marcus Sykes, number 10, the senior from Richmond, Virginia. DeGan tries to get by Warren. Costner wide open for the three. Buries it. He's got 5 in the ball game.
That's a pretty tough play. He sets that screen out around the free throw line, and the guys go with the dribble, and he just steps back beyond the three-point arc. He showed you last year he can be an excellent three-point shooter.
Shot 38% last year, under 30 this year. Good start for North Carolina State. Here's Jamal Warren. Haritzniak, he doesn't mind that, but he takes the travel. Both teams have problems with turnovers. Here's the three.
Costner just steps back, Ron, and that's the key. He sets the screen at the foul line, then steps back beyond the three-point line. They're going to have to do a better job getting back to him quickly. You can leave Hickson out there, but you can't really leave Costner.
Well, John Williamson checks back into the lineup. Here comes Costner again. Gives it up to the freshman Hickson.
See, Hickson's not going to shoot it from out there, Ron. He may try to put it on the deck and get it closer, but he's not going to shoot that 8 to 10-foot jump shot.
Costner bodied up by Williamson. They go inside. Hickson over Haritzniak. Hickson with his first 2 of the ball game. He's averaging just over 17 points a contest.
I don't think Haritzniak can play in front of Hickson like that. You have to try to play behind him and out. You cannot allow Hickson to get dunks and layups.
Nice pressure defense. They're going to give Williamson that shot. The southpaw takes it. DeGan the rebound, looking to push it. 7-3 North Carolina State up by 4. We've played just about 2.5 here in the opening 20. Let's see if this time behind Hickson. Pull-up jumper by Gavin Grant. No. Williamson the rebound. Here's Warren. Quickly to Vaughn. Tries to get a step on Fells. Nothing doing. look at the three, but Vaughn cannot connect.
That's pretty good pressure by Fells coming over the screen.
McGann blows to the hole, no whistle. We've got a foul.
Now, one of the things you have, look down here low where you get the guys playing on the inside. Harichinook is trying to stay in front, and as he stays in front, has a very difficult time because you can lob the ball over. There aren't any tall guys on the inside. You have to play behind him, force him to shoot the jump shot over top.
Foul was on Warren, his first. Here comes Williamson. Gives it up to Warren. Another three. Fells the rebound.
You want to fall in love with the three-point shot if you're Cincinnati.
Another whistle, another foul. Only shooting about 32% on the year from beyond the arc. Foul's going to be on Warren. That'll be his second personal foul. So this gets Marvin Gentry up, the senior out of Fort Worth, Texas. A couple of games ago, collided with Vaughn. Knee went ahead. And Gentry went off the court on a stretcher. He is okay. Talked to me before the game. He said, "That was out. I don't remember anything about it." This is his first game back.
And a man for Cincinnati.
And on Vaughn, gets a step on him. Gives it up. And thought about it. Costner from about a foot behind the three. He's got his second of the evening. He's got 8 in the ball game.
That's really good news for North Carolina State. Costner had struggled shooting the three earlier in the year, but a nice play by Gavin Grant. The three-point shot really isn't his best shot. Recognizing his teammate was open, made the extra pass. NC State very aggressive on the defensive end. Everything is pressured. Everything is contested.
Lost the hoop. Coming the other way. McGann with the left hand. We've got a timeout by Cincinnati. Talking about that three-pointer again. Costner 3 for 3 from the field. This was his latest.
But one of the things that NC State has been able to do, Ron, is get some opportunities in transition. That's a transition play. The defense not set. Grant draws the defense and kicks it off. And when you're talking about transition, here's another transition opportunity. DeGan getting the ball quickly to the hoop. That's what Cincinnati said they wanted to do, to get out in transition, get easy baskets. But thus far, it's been Sidney Lowe's Wolfpack who has implemented that strategy very well.
A 10-0 run by North Carolina State. You know, talking to Coach Cronin today, he said basically they're still learning their offense. And he was kind of hesitant, but he understands that they're still trying to find their roles. They're not really sure about their offense. North Carolina State seems like they've got the light come on tonight as far as their offense is concerned.
Key thus far has been the Wolfpack's aggressiveness on defense. Cincinnati hadn't been able to run anything.
Williamson tries to force the pass, got a kick. We've got a timeout. 15:30 left to play in the opening half. Costner, perfect shooting the basketball tonight. 3 for 3, 8 points. His squad leads by 9. 9-point North Carolina State lead, 12-3, 15:30 left to play in the opening half. Along with Dan Bonner, Debbie Antonelli, I'm Ron Coughlin. Last year we talked about the fact that Cincinnati won the ball game. They did it by forcing 32 turnovers. North Carolina State at times, Dan, didn't look like they were playing any defense.
Of course, it's hard to play defense in transition, Ron, particularly when you're chasing the guys down the court. It was the turnovers last year that did in the North Carolina State Wolfpack, plus a great game from this guy, Deontay Vaughn. Tables a little turned thus far tonight, though. It's been North Carolina State that's been forcing the turnovers. There we talked about Vaughn's game last year. What a tremendous effort.
He's 1 of 2 tonight, 3 points in the ball game.
But just as Cincinnati set the tempo with their defense in last year's game, thus far, it's been the Wolfpack setting the tempo with solid defensive play tonight.
Vaughn tries to get a step on the freshman. Gonzalez gets his own rebound. Ritzniuk gives it back to Gentry. Leans in for the jumper, draws the whistle and the contact. And the contact's going to be coming from Gavin Grant.
And that foul really bailed him out, because that's another very difficult shot. Cincinnati, with the exception of that first three-pointer that Vaughn hit to start the game, really hasn't had any uncontested open shots.
Gentry, the senior out of Fort Worth, Texas, averaging just under 8 points a ball game. We welcome those of you who have been watching a very exciting game between Wake Forest and Virginia Tech. Wake Forest winning it by 2. We bring you inside the RBC Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. Along with Dan Botter, Debbie Antonelli, I'm Ron Thulin. We've played just over 5 minutes. North Carolina State, courtesy of a 10-0 run, took the advantage early on in this ball game. Now they lead Cincinnati 12-5. As you see, with about 14:45 to play in the half. It's been all Wolfpack. Their defense has been stingy. Their offense doing things like that. And Koster now with 10 points in the ball game, 4 of 4 shooting.
And just a great pass by McCauley.
McCauley coming off his best game against Davidson. That 66-65 win on Friday, the 3. Dan, you talked about falling in love with the 3. That's all they can get. They're getting one shot. North Carolina State takes over.
And that's been a problem for North Carolina State. They give up an awful lot of offensive rebounds, but not so against Davidson and not so tonight.
15 offensive rebounds a game.
You play that tough defense, it doesn't end until you get the ball.
Great ball, a little French pastry underneath for the junior from West Newton, Pennsylvania.
Easy opportunities for the Wolfpack so far. Look at this man-to-man defense, Ron. They're really harassing and fighting, and you'll take that kind of a foul. And their passing has been pinpoint thus far. Here's McCauley, noted as a great passer, more than 100 assists last year. Finds Cosner coming down the lane, and then McCauley going inside, getting the return pass from Gavin Grant. That's just not very good defense.
And you can see our game summary so far. Cincinnati's hit only 1 field goal. North Carolina State's missed only 2. How about 10 points in the paint already for North Carolina State? You know, you mentioned Ben McCauley. 115 assists last year, along with Duke's Josh McRoberts, the only big man in the ACC with 100 assists. That's an impressive figure.
7 field goals for NC State tonight, 6 assists, so they're getting easy shots. There's an offensive foul on an illegal screen. Cincinnati really struggling to get anything going.
And offense has been their Achilles heel. They are not scoring a lot of points. By the way, that's on Belton. Only scoring about 65 points a game, only shooting 41%. During this 4-game losing streak, they're shooting about 39%. Here's Javier Gonzalez, originally from Puerto Rico. Trying to work on Vaughn. One of the 2 point guards we'll see tonight. McCauley. Vaughn, nice poke check away by Hickson.
Teammates have to tell him that Hickson is back there.
4th turnover for the Bearcats.
A break for NC State because Cincinnati had a 5-on-4 with Hickson trailing the play.
Corner looks stop, gives it up to Hickson. Baseline bunny shot, no. And McCauley's going to be whistled for the foul. He just got tangled up, it looked like. Sykes went down.
Well, maybe he got tangled up. Maybe at 6'9", 240 pounds, it was a little more than a tangle. McCauley, big, tough, aggressive inside.
He's going to his,
That's a 15 foul now on North Carolina State. One thing about this Cincinnati team, we saw it in the Xavier game. We also saw it in the Memphis game. They never gave up. Only trailed Memphis by 1 at halftime.
That's a nice job by McCauley to jump out to prevent Vaughn from getting the 3.
Gentry going nowhere. Tries to lock one up, gets his own rebound, puts it back, got it.
Boy, that's solid work on the inside. Hickson went for the blocked shot, and because Gentry was able to float the ball up over Hickson, Hickson was not in a position to get the rebound. Gentry went and got it himself.
Again, Fells takes a tumble. Debbie, we've been talking a lot about offensive efficiency tonight. Your thoughts on North Carolina State?
well, Ron, 7 baskets, six of which are assisted for the Wolfpack early on. And, you know, Mick Cronin told us he wanted to run, but you can't run when you're taking the ball out of the net. Their defense is going to have to force NC State into their 2nd and 3rd options. Right now, they're getting whatever they want. They're making the extra pass, and they are getting the basketball to the right people at the right time to score.
Ron, that's really a good observation because that's exactly what's happening. And the reason it's happening is Cincinnati's pressure hadn't bothered NC State at all. They're attacking the pressure and they're creating opportunities on the offensive end in transition.
Well, Fells makes both of them. He's 14 of 16 on the year. The lead now at 11, inside of 12 minutes to play. Nothing doing, a collapsing North Carolina State defense again.
Well, Belton just simply didn't handle the pass. Against guys the size of the Wolfpack, you got to catch the ball in there and get it off quickly because they're not going to give you a lot of time to decide what you're supposed to do.
Williamson back up off Cincinnati's bench. Ollie directing traffic. Hickson, nice pass inside. Whistle and another foul. Outstanding passing tonight by the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. That's one of the reasons they're up 18-7. 11:27 left to play in the opening half. Cincinnati would double the turnovers than field goals made. They have 4 turnovers, 2 field goals made, and with 11:27 left in the half, 18-7 they trail. Let's take a look at our Pizza Hut starting lineups. This is how the game started tonight with Vaughn, Warren, Haritzniuk, Williamson, and Bishop. Bishop already with 2 personal fouls, as does Warren. And for North Carolina State, they started out with Fells, DeGan, Hickson, Costner, and Grant. Costner has had the hot hand so far tonight, already in double figures. 4 of 4 shooting. He's got 10 points in the ball game.
Ron, interestingly enough, we just looked at the starting lineups, but Mick Cronin from Cincinnati has already used 10 players in this game as he is struggling to find some sort of a combination. We talked to him this morning, and his game plan involved his team putting pressure on North Carolina State, forcing some turnovers, but North Carolina State hasn't turned it over. They've been able to run the ball down the court, get easy opportunities.
Dennis Horner from Linwood, New Jersey.
Horner, another guy for the Wolfpack that sort of had a problem finding a role for himself. He had a real solid game on Friday night against Davidson as well. It's a Wolfpack team that's sort of a work in progress, but they've got all the pieces to be very, very effective.
They are so athletic, they're big, and they're physical. Watching the practice tonight, you can just see how big this team is. Another turnover. That's 5 for Cincinnati in the ball game.
Well, you can't stand there with the ball over your head and look and look and look and then try to force it inside. The ball's got to move from side to side. The defense has to move before you can throw it in there.
Here's Javier Gonzalez, a true freshman. Looking for Hickson. Inside, hangs in the air, can't get it to go. Mitchell looked to push it, then he holds it up. Williamson looking for the easy 2. Hickson goes for the block, doesn't get it, and John Williamson, the senior from Columbus, Ohio, his first 2. Here's the pressure. Gonzalez gets away from it and dribbles out of the path.
That actually was not a bad job by Cincinnati because NC State didn't beat the press to score. They beat the press to survive, so now they pull the ball back out. Only 19 seconds left to run their offense.
Warren playing with 2 personal fouls on Gonzalez. McCauley left open, and again, he's short. 2 field goal attempts tonight. Both of them have been short.
McCauley is a guy that's noted for his ability to pass the ball, his rebounding, his defense. He can shoot that 15-foot jump shot, but that's not the strongest part of his game.
Had an outstanding year last year. 2nd highest scoring increase in the ACC from 2 points. His first year to 14 points a game last year.
You know, Costner comes back in and McCauley comes out, but he's been short on those 2 15-foot shots. You can see his reaction over there. But you know what? I know an old high school coach who always tells his kids, if you're short like that, get closer.
Stand closer.
Get closer.
Sounds like a golf adage. Not sure about McCauley, but he was very upset. Nice pump fake by Davis.
Boy, that was a great recovery out there by Fells. Williamson gets the rebound, but you know, that pump fake, the guy flies up near, you figure, okay, now he's going to get an open shot, but Fells came back down and quickly assumed his defensive position. He didn't give up just because he got faked out. Watch Fells, he gets faked out, but watch, he stops and then jumps again. What a great defensive effort. Also not because they don't get the rebound, but that's a great effort.
Now Fells, 41-inch vertical leap and a 7-foot wingspan, and we saw every inch of that.
Yeah,
Doesn't make any difference unless you're hustling, though.
9:48 to play in the first half. Last North Carolina State basket was at the 13:50 mark, so they've gone 4 minutes without a hoop. And we've got a whistle and a foul. More on Courtney Fells. Here's Debbie Antonelli. Debbie.
Well, guys, you know, you're talking about Courtney Fells and the defensive effort. Ron, you mentioned his 7-foot wingspan on a 6'5" body. I mean, you look at the players that he has had to guard. He will get the toughest perimeter assignment every time. When Vaughn is playing the 2, he's got Vaughn tonight. And when you look at the numbers here, he's held all those players below their scoring average, below their field goal attempts, and each one of those games has resulted in a W. As a matter of fact, the only loss that Villanova has suffered all year.
Well, he's been good from the free throw line. He hasn't missed tonight 4 of 4. That's where all his points are coming. At times, Sidney Lowe said last year he felt Fells was the best player on the court for him. And he even asked him, do you want to be the best player on the court?
So everybody knows what the answer to that question is.
Yeah. Vaughn drains the 3 over the outstretched hands of DeGant. He's got 6 in the ball game.
See, when they're going to set that screen out at the top, you can't follow Vaughn behind that screen. He's just too good a shooter.
They hurry, they got numbers. DeGant to Hickson, the freshman, hangs in the air, still can't get it to go. Ritzny up the rebound.
Hickson doesn't need all that dipsy-do stuff. Take the ball, big guy, and take it right to the basket.
And Davis with the floater. Larry Davis, the freshman out of A-Leaf Hastings High School in Houston. And now Cincinnati with a little run of their own, only down by 6.
Ron, what happens is NC State misses a shot in transition, so all their guys are running toward the offensive end. Now they got to turn and run the other way, so a bad shot really creates a transition opportunity for Cincinnati.
Nick Cronin's team, we told you they were never going to give up as we take a look at our Boost Mobile game plan for tonight.
And we've already seen this in the game plan that North Carolina State is looking to get the ball off the boards and get out in transition. They're also looking to create some turnovers. Each team is looking to create some turnovers and get down the court quickly.
Do you foresee that Cincinnati may be getting a little patience and execution on offense? Because patience and execution is something Cincinnati hasn't had up until just a couple of minutes ago. You see them maybe settling down now they got themselves back in this ballgame.
But Ron, I don't know that it's so much patience and execution. If it's got to be solid defensive play, and if there's any patience, it's got to be patience on the defensive end. Don't necessarily go for the steals. Make North Carolina State work up the court. Now here comes a double team.
Nice job with that. Shot clock though, plenty of time left. Osler being hounded. Patient offense by North Carolina State. DeGant launches the 3, and he drains the 3. Only his 8th of the year. He's got 5 points in the ball game.
Now that's really going to help North Carolina State in the half-court offense if DeGant can hit from the outside. That's really the first time in the game that NC State has had to play throughout a shot clock in their half-court set. Now the Wolfpack drops back into a zone defense.
Ritzny up from Poland, rolls it around.
Now he's a guy, he gets the ball close to the basket. He can shoot with either hand.
He's an extremely strong guy. That's going to be a blocking foul. Count the basket by Grant.
You've got to get back on defense. North Carolina State took the ball out of the basket and just ran the ball up the court. Haritsanuk just not back quickly enough, but that's really unfair. Gavin Grant in a one-on-one situation is going to take him every time. We said earlier that Gavin Grant's, the best part of his game is that slashing to the basket. He really likes to get out in transition, and he's had a couple of opportunities tonight.
8 for 8 from the line against Davidson, including the game winner. Offensive rebound, Costner, and they'll get another shot at it. That's such a positive for this North Carolina State team. Inside of 8 minutes to play in the half. Fells looking for the cutting Grant. Bishop gets a piece of it. We've got a break. 7:43 left to play. In the opening half, Sidney Lowe's squad jumped out to a big lead. Cincinnati's made a run, but the Wolfpack still lead at 26-17. with Dan Bonner, Dan Biantinelli. I'm Ron Thulin, welcoming you back to Raleigh, North Carolina. North Carolina State leads at 26-17. ACC Sunday Night Hoops presented by Pizza Hut. 7:43 left in the half. Cindy Lowe's team has done a nice job defensively, which has probably caused Cincinnati not to be able.
It's going to be who could get easy baskets, the simple things in the game. And so far, it's North Carolina State with the easy baskets. Who could avoid trouble with turnovers? So far, it's been North Carolina State that has avoided the turnover bugaboo. And then inside play was going to be very important. And thus far, North Carolina State has dominated the play around the basket.
Well, you talk about turnovers. At no time this year has an opponent against North Carolina State had more turnovers in the Wolfpack except for today, if that holds true. 7 assists, no turnovers for the Wolfpack.
And this is a team that's had turnover troubles. And are you kidding me? We're more than 14 minutes into the game and they have no turnovers.
And now Vaughn picks up his second personal. So Vaughn, Warren, Bishop, all with 2 personal fouls as DeGan gets the first.
And Ron, that was an example of what we were talking about, a lack of defensive patience. You don't need to foul Farnold DeGan that far from the basket trying for a steal. You know, you like the aggressiveness, but you have to make better decisions than that.
Well, DeGan's already gone over his season average. He's got 7 in the ball game, averaging 6.7. Lead back to 11. 7:34 left to play in the first 20. Gentry takes a look, hits the side of the backboard, and they'll put a crack in it. And they've got numbers. Grant to DeGan. Nice job of recovery by Marvin Gentry.
Gentry is a guy who can look pretty bad on his jump shot, but he is a very streaky shooter. When he gets it going, he's very, very dangerous. That time, a bad opportunity by Gentry, but he recovered and knocked the ball out of bounds.
Well, the coaches and players thought that he would make the biggest jump this season as far as improvement. Rebound controlled by Bishop. Here comes Warren. He has been quiet tonight. Bishop, they give him the shot just inside the 3, and the lefty drains his first 2 of the ball game.
See, lots of times when you're struggling with your offense, the best way to get offense is in transition.
Then Bishop doesn't really do anything to stop Grant on the other end, but they get a break. Here comes Warren. Has Gentry on the right, Williamson on the left. Gentry, baseline. They're going to call it travel.
What a great job by Gavin Grant, who got knocked down on the one end of the court, missing the shot, picked himself up, sprinted down the middle of the court, got himself in position. Right there, he just gets himself in position. He was really the guy that forces that travel. Gentry with a lane to the basket, but and remember, Grant was on his backside on the other end, got up, sprinted down the court, got in position to force that turnover.
Sykes and Davis check back into the lineup for Cincinnati. 4 and 6 on the year. North Carolina State 6 and 3, 3 and 1 at home. DeGan uses the body, tries to use the right arm. Bishop gives it up to Warren. Nice quick move to the hole. The floater won't go. Aritzniuk had a shot at it, didn't get it.
Everybody stopped. That whistle is Sidney Lowe's. They thought it was the referee's whistle.
It's, as the players were telling us today, they almost fear the whistle. They hear it, they know they got to turn around and look at the coach. Costner was trying to post. Grant leans inside off the back of the iron. Warren's got Bishop streaking down the right side. Bishop with a left hand, good looking move.
That was a great looking fast break. Quick outlet pass, and then Bishop with the nice catch, the jump stop.
And this Cincinnati team will not go away, and Sidney Lowe wants to call a timeout. We were talking just a moment ago about the fast break. Let's look at it again.
Well, part of it is getting the ball out quickly. Grant with a tough shot, and watch Aritzniuk as he gets the ball quickly to Warren. Warren's looking up the court all the time. He passes ahead. A great jump stop by Bishop that freezes Horner, the defender, and then he uses the left hand. You know Bishop is a left-handed guy, and you're looking for him to go left, but in transition like that, with that jump stop, he freezes you, and then he's got the first step. A nice transition break.
Well, we talk about Coach Cronin from Cincinnati. His dad, Harold, a successful high school coach in Cincinnati. He was an assistant with Rick Pitino at Louisville, and of course Huggins at Cincinnati. Then he went to Murray State, where he got 2 NCAA berths. The 05-06 Ohio Valley Coach of the Year. And just think, 11 years ago, this guy was the video coordinator for the Bearcats. Now he's their head coach.
That's sort of a good story. A guy who's a native of Cincinnati, coaching the hometown team. It's been a bit of a project for him. He's got a young team he's trying to build.
You see North Carolina State winning 6 of their last 8. Close in on 5.5 to play. Only a 7-point lead. Costner remains perfect. He's got 13 in the ball game. 5 for 5 from the floor.
And there is no better Christmas present for Sidney Lowe or these North Carolina State fans than the belief that Brandon Costner has recovered his stroke. Struggled for the most part this year, but the last 2 games he's really been good. Here's the zone again.
Daring Cincinnati to shoot. Ward goes inside. Nice job.
That's just a power move inside. Belton, you know, in his zone defense, you're supposed to have more guys around the ball than that.
Belton's first field goal made this year, his first 2 points of the year.
Boy, Fells missed McCauley all alone on the basket.
McCauley pops out. Costner being hounded by Davis, leaves Gonzalez open for the 3, doesn't get it. Javier Gonzalez only 2 of 13 from beyond the arc coming into tonight.
Now we're talking about Brandon Costner and his 3-point shots today. This is his 3rd 3. He gets his feet in great position and nails them. Why is everybody so happy about that? Well, earlier in the season, he's really struggled. You see his scoring average down, his made 3-pointers down, his 3-point percentage way down. So all of his numbers down this year, but the last 2 games on Friday night and then in the first half today, he looks like the Brandon Costner of old.
Well, he broke North Carolina State star Charles Hawkeye Whitney's freshman scoring record last year. They were expecting great things again this season. Williamson turn around with a left hand. Nice job on the boards. McCauley, the outlet to Gonzalez.
That's nice interior defense by McCauley.
Fells, baseline. Nice pass to McCauley. Has it swatted away by Williamson. Fells, nice pump fake to the hole, off the glass, sweet. Fells with 6, lead back to 10. On to Williamson for the easy 2 off the glass.
You know, Ron, as well as NC State played, if you weren't looking at the scoreboard, you'd think they were up by way more than 8.
To the hole with the left hand. That's going to be an offensive foul. Brian Kersey says we're going to go the other way with it. Costner picks up his 2nd personal. 3:27 left to play in the first half. North Carolina State by 8. Played just over a minute here in the second half. North Carolina State leading by 9. We talked about how can you say that Cincinnati's close when you look at the numbers, Dan, but I think it's just pure hustle on their part.
Well, they're playing hard, and they haven't quit. You can see their 3-point offense really not very good at all. And Deontay Vaughn hasn't gotten started yet, but I think you have to credit the North Carolina State defense.
They're out rebounding 17-14. Debbie, what do the North Carolina State coaches think?
Well, guys, I had a chance to talk to Monty Tall, the associate head coach, and he told us how he thinks that NC State can take care of business in the second half. 5 offensive rebounds for Cincinnati in the first half. 4 of them they scored on. They think their defense has been good because they limited them to 29 points in the first half, but they also feel like Vaughn is going to start to get more touches. So look for Vaughn to start to come out here, this break right here, and get some touches offensively when Cincinnati gets the ball back. He's the guy that they know can score, and they're worried about him in the second half.
One of the 5-point guards on that NC State coaching staff. Here's the pressure again. Vaughn only 6 shots, by the way, in that opening 20 minutes. Made only 2 of them. His last basket came at the 9:30 mark. Costner has been perfect, and that's his first miss. Here comes Vaughn.
One thing that Vaughn hasn't been able to do is get the ball all the way to the goal.
Hritzniuk will launch the 3, and he makes the 3. Hritzniuk now with 9 in the ball game, and that is only his 4th 3-pointer made in the turnover. Vaughn inside. Warren misses the layup. That was the problem they had against Xavier, and we've got The jump ball, but the possession arrow goes to North Carolina State.
Hrycniuk has an open opportunity, Ron. You said he's only made 4, but now he's only shot 11. He doesn't shoot it very often. Hickson staying way back, and he's able to knock it down. And then that offensive rebounding. They didn't have any offensive rebounds to Cincinnati for the first 16 minutes of the game or so, but they got a couple right at the end.
That foul's going to be on Warren. That'll be his 3rd personal foul.
You know, when you're pressuring, Ron, you're going to pick up some fouls, but you'd like to pick up the foul going for a steal or something, not simply losing your balance and knocking the guy over.
And he's going to stay in the ball game. Picked up 2 early in that opening half. Here comes the double. Grant looks underneath. Hickson has position on Hrycniuk. Nobody sees him. Fells on the drive. Gliding in with the right hand. Count the hoop and go to the line.
Ron, that's at least 4 or 5 times tonight that NC State has been able to create an old-fashioned 3-point play opportunity. Fells just takes the ball to the basket. This is really a good play. Drives past a couple of guys who just reach in and swat at him.
He's got 8 in the ball game. He was the MVP of the Old Spice Classic, courtesy of 21 points versus then number 20 Villanova. Lead back to 8. It was cut to 6. Warren looks up at the shot clock.
Still plenty of time on the shot clock.
Warren checks it again. Hrycniuk took his eyes off it, then Hickson with a poke check foul. That is number 3 on J.J. Hickson.
You know, that's the kind of foul that drives a coach nuts. There's 8 seconds left on the shot clock, and you have your big guy fouling the other team's big guy 40 feet from the basket. Wow. But, you know, Hickson, as good as he is, as well as he's played, he's still a freshman.
Well, he's got 6 points and 3 fouls. Fresh 35 on the shot clock for Cincinnati. McCauley, by the way, is checked in for Hickson. Fells doing a nice job with those long arms. Davis. Fells almost tips it in. And Davis commits the foul.
Oh, Davis better be careful. He doesn't want to get himself a technical foul.
Watch this.
Well, Fells is just trying to get the rebound, and so he jumps up trying to tip it away from Hrycniuk. Almost tips it in, but then gets the rebound. And then another sort of a frustration foul by Cincinnati.
Well, they like Davis, the freshman out of Houston. Long pass. Costner leans into Gentry. We've got a whistle and a foul. And that'll be on Gentry. That'll be his first personal.
This is something that NC State has been able to do throughout the game, and that is break the pressure. That back pass there. Now, there's not a double team, and when you can get the ball out before the double team can get set and thrown across the court, you get great opportunities, and you saw that from NC State.
Numbers on Costner tonight. Pretty good. Averaging about 10 points a ball game. All ACC freshman, 3rd team all ACC overall last year. Double figures in every game but 1 last season. Was a freshman All-American.
Coming into this one, though, his 3-point field goal percentage was only 2 of 16. So 25% was made. 3 of 4 tonight.
There's a solid free throw shooter at 84%. The lead back to 9. Hahn has not scored since the 9:30 mark of that opening half. Fans wanted to travel. Davis trying to make something happen. No whistle. We've got a foul on the drive. Fans don't like it.
Ron, this game has become very physical all of a sudden. And when you talk about physical play, you usually talk about inside, but watch all this bumping going on out on the perimeter. Davis actually took a pretty good shot from Costner, and then he drives the ball to the basket, picks up the foul, non-shooting foul.
Foul was on DeGan, his first. Grant puts up the arm, but Davis drops it. And a nice job by Gentry just poking it away. That quickly gets Warren up off the Cincinnati bench. He'll check back into the lineup. Deontay Vaughn will sit down. Vaughn only 2 of 6 shooting tonight.
I think the key number there is the 6. And there, Davis is going to get called for a foul. He's complaining about it, but he grabbed the hold. The referee standing right there looking at it.
That's his 3rd personal foul.
Sykes is telling him, please calm down.
Yeah, don't say anything, rookie. His dad was a pretty good player at SMU. He's got a little pedigree in him.
NC State doing a nice job getting rid of the ball while the double team is coming before they can set it. Nice.
Oh, what a pass. McCauley to DeGan. Give McCauley the props. DeGan has 9. Warren gets away with a push-off on DeGan.
NC State in the man-to-man.
Oh, it's getting a little physical underneath again. Ben McCauley, Dan, you talked about his passing ability. We see it again on this last play.
McCauley's a guy, when he catches the ball in the high post, he's looking to throw it. And he just sees out of the corner of his eye. DeGan does a great job cutting to the basket. NC State operate on all cylinders when they can do this. They lead it by 9.
Inside 12 minutes to go in the second half. NC State with an 8-point lead. And J.J. Hickson, who leads NC State in scoring and rebounding, as a matter of fact, leads all ACC freshmen in scoring right now, has been a load on the inside for the Wolfpack. He's 6'9". He has a 37-inch vertical. On the NBA test, you know that they do those guys, with a 185-pound bench press. He does it 19 times. He comes in with a work ethic that he learned from growing up with his grandmother. He lost his mother at an early age at 12, and he shows up every single day for NC State, works with an attitude and a sense of urgency that is like a senior. The coaching staff for NC State is very proud of the effort that he's bringing, and he has helped add versatility to the NC State offense.
Absolutely, Debbie. Talking to the coaches, Sidney Lowe and everybody about him today, they think this young man is outstanding. Some people think he's got next-level talent. He's probably the most highly recruited player to come here since Julius Hodge. Marietta, Georgia. He's got both of them. The lead was 5, but they've now stretched it to 10.
And it's not like they stretched it to 10 immediately. Cincinnati had a chance to crawl back in it, but the Bearcats have just gone into another one of those situations where they haven't scored.
Inside Williamson, he gets position on Costner, and he's got 11 in the ball game. That's already 2 over his season average. Lead back down to 8. Nice job breaking a press. Williamson tries to make the save. Steps on the line.
Mick Cronin over there just, he's really happy with the effort, but I think a little bit disappointed that they weren't able to come up with the steal. His team just has not created many steals out of the presser. They had 13 steals last year, forced 32 turnovers. Nothing like that tonight.
Well, they're not playing, and we saw them practice today, or practicing like a team that has 4 consecutive losses. These guys still believe that they're very close to turning this thing around. Whistle on a foul underneath again.
NC State just doing a great job attacking the basket. They're going to they've had a lot of free throw opportunities. Their last 8 points, in fact, have come from the free throw line, but that's because they continue to attack the basket. They beat the pressure, they get advantage situations, and then they attack.
Okay, last 8 still remain from the free throw line.
I don't think Cincinnati has attempted a free throw.
Not in the second half.
No,
5 of
6.
Okay. And North Carolina State 17 of 25, 7 of 12 in the second half. Big discrepancy from the line. DeGan can't get either one to go down.
That's on Hickson.
Foul will be number 4 on the freshman J.J. Hickson.
See, the NC State defense has forced Cincinnati out to the perimeter. And Cincinnati has not been really effective in their half-court offense. And Mick Cronin told us that they weren't going to be, that they had to get some easy opportunities, and they simply haven't done that tonight.
Here's a guy that hasn't done it tonight. Only 1 shot in the second half for Deontay Vaughn. McCauley on the hip. He's going to be whistling for the foul.
Richenuk really can get inside effectively. With Hickson out of the game, I think you can look for Cincinnati to try to throw the ball in there to the big guy. This is a young man. He gets close to the basket, can shoot with either hand.
Still out of the penalty. Here's Gentry. Working on Fells. Elevates, floats it. McCauley the rebound.
Tough shot.
Yeah. McCauley now with 3 rebounds. Ball belongs to North Carolina State. 10:43 to play in the contest.
Now, I think Deontay Vaughn has to be more active in looking for his shot. When he's playing against Farnold DeGan not quite the size of Fells. But this is an opportunity for Vaughn maybe to find some offensive opportunities. But he's got to look for them.
Is he getting any help, though, getting him open?
Well, they're trying to set some screens out at the top, and NC State's doing a nice job defending those screens.
Costner gets a wide open look. The lefty drains the 3. He's got 18 points in the ball game.
Well, now if you're Cincinnati, you're close to within 5. You've fallen behind by 11. You still have plenty of time left in the game, but you have to start putting the ball in the basket.
Costner 4 of 6 beyond the arc right now. You also can't start falling in love with the 3 yourself. Richniak taken away. Possession arrow, though, to Cincinnati.
Now the shot clock will not reset. This is really a nice defensive play. McCauley waits until Haritsanuk has committed himself to go to the basket. Then he comes and helps.
Gentry had position, and he just forces it in. Gentry now with 9 in the ball game. Unforced error. That was the 6th turnover.
But only the 6th.
Yeah, only the 6th.
This is a team that averages over 15 turnovers a game. Cincinnati's been trying to pressure him the entire game. Very few mistakes like that one. And if you're NC State, that's the kind of mistake you want to make, where Cincinnati has to take it out of bounds. They don't get to run down and play in transition.
They've got to run their half-court set.
Against your set defense, and that's something that Cincinnati has not done very well tonight.
Kenny Belton leading on McCauley. Here's Vaughn, quickly covered up by DeGan. Tries to work off the pick, fires the off-balance shot. He's got his first field goal of the second half.
I had to work for that one. That's a tough shot, but that's what you expect your leading scorer to do, is make some tough shots.
And that pulls him again within 6. McCauley looks left, goes right with a reverse. He lulled him to sleep by looking over his left shoulder. Belton inside. Draws the whistle and the foul.
We talked about Deontay Vaughn and the fact that he had to do a better job looking for his shot. Now against Farnold DeGan, he's got a little bit better opportunity to get it off. Doesn't need quite as much room because DeGan not as long as Courtney Fells, so he knocks it down. But Ben McCauley answers. A little bit scary to try to step in and take a charge against that big guy going to the goal.
McCauley picks up his 3rd personal foul. He'll stay in the ball game. Larry Davis comes back in. Gentry sits down for Cincinnati.
That was Belton's first free throw attempt of the season.
Oh, he saw him take his first field goal attempt of the season and make it.
Oh,
somebody get a Band-Aid for the right side of the glass. Barely clipped the rim. Wisely setting it up, North Carolina State. They glance over to Sidney Lowe for the play. Grant looks up, 8 to shoot. Horner still looking. McCauley looks up. Gives it up to Costner. Oh, my. Whistle and a foul with 3 on the shot clock. He just talked about that, Dan, a few minutes ago. Shot clock running down. Belton picks up his 3rd.
Everybody talks about offensive patience. Patience on the offensive end. Sometimes you have to exhibit patience on the defensive end. You have to know shot clock is. That was just a giveaway foul on McCauley.
You look at the improvement of Big Ben McCauley between his freshman and sophomore year. There's not a whole lot of guys that showed that type of improvement like he did last year. Now, granted, he didn't have anybody playing behind him last year. He was almost forced to improve. Nice looking shot.
Well, he got a lot of minutes last year, and he made very productive use of those minutes. And I think with this team, with Hickson in the lineup, McCauley has to learn how to have very productive minutes, so there may be fewer minutes, different kinds of situations, and I think he's finally learning that.
Gonzalez just took another pick, this one from Williamson. Get the hot tub ready for Javier Gonzalez. The lead is back to 10. Davis, quick pull up over Horner, and he rattles the three. Larry Davis has 7 in the ball game.
On another just bad foul right there. You know, Williams given good effort, but that's Mick Cronin's team. Just they're knocking guys down in situations where they don't really have any chance for a steal.
7:57 in this very emotional game that has North Carolina State leading by 7. ACC Sunday Night Hoops presented by Pizza Hut, presented in high definition. Glad you're with us tonight in Raleigh, North Carolina. We started off our doubleheader with an exciting Wake Forest win over Virginia Tech, and in this ball game you can see what the 2 leading scorers have done for their respective teams. Costner was hot, hit his first 5 shots of the ball game. He now has 18. Williamson doing a nice job on the boards to collect his 11. There's a good look at Brandon Costner, just a sophomore from Montclair, New Jersey. Spent some time at Seton Hall Prep. One of the keys in this game is Gavin Gregg goes to the line. Cincinnati has taken 14 more field goal attempts than North Carolina State, but North Carolina State has 23 now more free throw attempts.
North Carolina State has been attacking the basket.
Gavin Gregg 70% on the year coming into this game from the line. 5 of 6 tonight. Make it 6 of 7 for the senior from the Bronx. Lead is to 9 inside of 7:55 to play.
Cincinnati's done a nice job in this half of hanging around, Ron, but now they're at the point of the game where they really have to make a little move. Get it tight for those last couple of minutes.
Now with 13:40 to go in the ball game, they had cut it to 5. Got it back to 9 now. Deontay Vaughn only 1 field goal made here in the second half. Here's Williamson, the leading scorer. Aritzniuk, that prayer will be answered. Whistle and a foul. That'll be 4 personal fouls now on McCauley.
So Hickson's got 4 as well. So this game's still tight enough that that foul trouble could really be a factor coming down the stretch.
Next Sunday, FSN College Hoops presented by Pizza Hut returns with a doubleheader beginning with Florida State taking on Georgia Tech. And Valparaiso looks to upset number 1 ranked North Carolina. Coverage begins next Sunday, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific in high definition right here on FSN. You and I will be just down the road for that North Carolina game, Dan.
Looking forward to seeing the Tar Heels.
Homer Drew, head coach of Valpo, assistant coach. Bryce Drew, his son.
It's a Valpo team that's 10-1. They switched leagues this year. They're gone from the Mid-Continent, now part of the Horizon League.
Better travel schedule for him. Inside, Hickson playing with 4 fouls, draws one from Aritzniuk. You know, you look at this young man from Poland, and really, this is his first year. He had to sit out last year because they were trying to get something all squared away with the NCAA. He's just learning the game right now. Hickson now with 5 in the contest.
One of the difficulties that he's had tonight is he just has not been able to keep Hickson away from the basket. You really have to use your size and strength to keep Hickson from getting down inside. And that's a battle because Hickson is a big, strong guy who wants to go as close to the basket as he can get.
And Hickson now in double figures with 11. Vaughn, nice crossover past Costner, and he uses the right hand to pick up his 11th point.
I think this is an opportunity for Vaughn to really get going offensively, I don't think Gonzalez really can guard him effectively.
Oh, and Costner just slips and the ball goes off his hip. And it's a 7-point lead. 7 turnovers now in the game.
Cincinnati continues to play hard on the defensive end. Gentry doing a nice job knocking the ball away, and that's just a bad break for North Carolina State. Costner caught it and went down.
Gonzalez comes out. DeGan comes back in for North Carolina State. Sykes comes in. Williamson will go out for Cincinnati.
One thing that neither DeGan nor Fells have committed is Vaughn to drive the ball into the lane as he did the last time against Gonzalez, and I think that's what Sidney Lowe was telling Gonzalez over on the side.
This time he kicks it off his shin.
That's a double
Fells
dribble.
will double dribble. North Carolina State doesn't like it. Either does Sidney Lowe. You decide.
He just dribbles it off his foot right here and then watches scramble for the ball. He picks it up. Yeah,
it's a double dribble. I think that was pretty obvious. Sykes sets the pick. Gentry tries to go around it. Fells, nice job keeping up with him.
So look where Vaughn is. Vaughn is standing out at half court, and that really doesn't help his team out there. It's a 3-second violation.
10 turnovers now.
Here's Vaughn out here. And now the play, look how far he is from the three-point line. He is just not in the play. He's just standing there watching. And that doesn't help his team at all, particularly when he's got DeGan guarding him. He's got to be more active, and there's a foul by Bishop. I think Bishop just fouled out of the game.
Yeah, he's gone if that's his 5th.
You know, here's Cincinnati. They had it down to 7 again. They got a 3-second violation with the opportunity to cut it to 5, and now they commit a foul. And that's really not a very good foul. He didn't have much of a chance to steal that ball. That's another giveaway foul.
And Bishop fouls out, as you saw, with 4 points in the ball game. Only 1 rebound. Now Mick Cronin has to try to fire up his team. You know, you were talking about the fact that Deontay Vaughn was so far out. DeGan, that's an easy cover for him then. If you notice, he kind of was just standing between Vaughn and the ball.
You don't have to guard a guy standing out at half court.
Now Bishop sits down with 6:16 to play. Fells goes to the line. 6 points, 7 rebounds for Courtney Fells.
And a very, very fine defensive game. Part of the problems that Vaughn has had have been a result of Fells' defense.
There you see the story here in the second half. Most of the points coming from the stripe. And 1 more to that.
That's a pretty effective way to play. You get yourself a lead and then just battle with the ball and protect that lead at the line.
The 3, though, cuts that lead again down to 6 as we close in with 6 minutes to play. And Costner bellied up on the play by Gentry. He'll be whistled for the foul. Coach Cronin can only force a little giggle. Here it is again. The 3.
Playing off Sykes, and Sykes is a guy who's only shooting 13% from beyond the arc this year, but led the team last year in three-point shooting percentage. So you can't leave him all alone out there.
Right now, Cincinnati has 6 more field goals made than North Carolina State.
Well, that's a very interesting stat, Ron, except they count it when they score from here, too.
That's exactly right. Costner now with 19 in the ball game. Vaughn will go out. 19 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist.
Boy, that's an amazing number. Outscored by 22 from the free throw line.
Tough to overcome. Aritzniuk got it. He's got a nice outside shot. He has 13 in the ball game.
You know, it's tough to overcome, but they're still in the game. There's a pass to you, Ron.
You didn't move. Thanks, partner. The lead is just 6, so Cincinnati is still not out of this. They're shooting 44%. North Carolina State 47%.
Now, North Carolina State with Vaughn out of the game goes into a zone.
Gentry swings it over to Sykes. 15 on the shot clock. Eight to shoot. Warren inside. Haritzniuk lost the handle. We've got a foul with 4 on the shot clock.
That was a nice job against the zone defense. Cincinnati not showing any panic, getting the ball inside to the big guy. Hickson's got the 4 fouls, and so that's a pretty good place for Mick Cronin's guys to go.
They're within 5 points. Last time they were within 4 points was way back when it was 7-3. That's where they are now, within 4 with 5:07 to play in the contest.
And Mick Cronin, even at this point in the game, trying to save his big guy for the offensive end, puts Belton back in as a defender.
And Mick Cronin doing a nice job substituting players tonight. Trying to build this program up. It was quite the train wreck. They try to go to Hickson. He's bellied up on the play by Kenny Belton. That'll be number 4 on Belton. It would probably be easier to say who's not in foul trouble at this point.
Well, Cincinnati's going to run out of guys.
Yeah. Here's J.J. Hickson again at the line. Hickson 5 of 6 from the stripe. He's got 11 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist.
Comes Haritzniuk back in the game.
Haritzniuk, Hickson, a McDonald's All-American. 24 points in the Round Ball Classic. He's the co-MVP with Kevin Love. Had an outstanding prep career at Walton High School in Marietta, just outside of Atlanta. And he gives the Wolfpack again a 5-point advantage. 4:45 to play. Deontay Vaughn stops, pops, doesn't get the roll. Rebound controlled by Fells.
And that was a good look by Vaughn, coming off the screen, a wide open shot. Oh, and they throw the ball away.
That's what Mick Cronin thought they could force North Carolina State to do in the first 20 minutes, and they didn't. Now it's paying off. North Carolina State had 3 turnovers in the first half, 7 here in the second half. Haritzniuk, not a very good pick. Vaughn to the hole with the left hand, count the basket. 13 points in the ball game now for Deontay Vaughn. It is a 3-point lead for the Wolfpack. They've got numbers. DeGan fouled on the play by Gentry. That should be 5 on him.
Well, he did a nice job hustling back, but I don't think, Ron, he was really in a situation where he had to commit a foul like that. I think he had time to get in front of DeGan. DeGan went down hard, though.
Well, let's take a look at it again. Is his plant leg that caused some problems here for the sophomore from Boston? Spent his first year at Iowa State.
Yeah, he planted that left knee, Ron. You could just see it buckle. Right here as he plants. Watch that knee just buckle.
And he is still down. They're going to keep looking at him, but it's 4:13 to play in the contest. He's going to get up with a little help. His team leading by just 3. Now remember, this is a team that was alternating point guards between DeGan and Javier Gonzalez, the true freshman. They have Marcus Johnson available. Wasn't available the first part of the year because of transfer regulations. He came from Tennessee. They wanted to get him in as a little point guard. He was recruited as a 1.
Well, this would be a very difficult spot for a kid who hadn't played basketball in a game in a year, and you're talking about Marcus Johnson. So it looks like the last 4 minutes and 13 seconds are going to be Javier Gonzalez.
Javier Gonzalez on the year. He was just 1 of 2 from the free throw line coming into tonight. And that's what he is tonight. So he's 2 of 4 for the year. Right now, North Carolina State 30 of 40 from the line.
That's a pretty tough job, is to come in and shoot the free throws. And really, the best free throw shooters are all on the court. So you might consider putting McCauley in, but then if McCauley missed the free throw, you'd be out. You'd be out there with a point guard if he missed the second one.
Well, he does get the second. The lead is at 4, closing in on 4 minutes to play in the contest. Cincinnati trying to break a 4-game skid. North Carolina State trying to make it 3 in a row.
And in losing Gentry, they lose an effective 3-point shooter.
And a guy that was giving them a lot of energy. Aritzniuk looking for something to do with the basketball, not sure what.
He's in there about an hour and a half and throws it away.
He read the Raleigh local paper and had a cup of coffee.
His teammates really didn't help him very much.
No. Dixon facing up. Facing up again. Pulls the trigger. Grant goes high for the rebound. That's going to be a foul on Gavin Grant. That'll be his second personal foul. And we'll take a break. 3:28 to play. Cincinnati continues to battle the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. Cincinnati with 3 players having 4 personal fouls. 2 players have already DQ'd in this ball game, and you can see our game summary right now. The second half shooting for Cincinnati, 50%. North Carolina State, only 5 field goals made. You look at that and you say, this has been a strange game just when you think North Carolina State's going to run away with it.
Well, it has been a strange game, and you look at those numbers and you think, how in the world can Cincinnati be in this game? But I think the answer is just pure grit. These guys have never quit playing. They've played hard. They're finally getting some results from their pressure. Sidney Lowe, boy, he's worn out. And now he's got to worry as Farnell DeGand is starting point guard, left with a knee injury. So they're going to have to navigate the final 3.5 without it.
That hurts. Got to get the points when the clock stops.
Now, they haven't had a lot of opportunities from the free throw line in the second half, and you're right, Ron. When you get there, you've got to convert. And Sykes coming in an 80% free throw shooter.
And he gets the second. The lead goes back down to 3 with 3:28. Sykes was 6 in a ball game. Here's the pressure again.
Ron, and that's significant. There's still 3 minutes left in the game.
Javier Gonzalez to Hickson with a 2-handed put down.
That's a good play by Gonzalez.
Through the defense, got just enough contact.
Beat the defense down the court was the key.
Davis, Aritzniuk inside, doesn't get the bunny shot to go. That's the problem he had against Xavier earlier this year. Sometimes he hurries his shot, the coaches tell us. 5-point lead inside of 2:55. Grant, great spin move, touches the glass softly.
What a great response by North Carolina State. 2 easy baskets. The North Carolina State Wolfpack helped to build their lead by beating the Cincinnati pressure, and this is what they do. A great job by Gonzalez to run past his man at half court, and then they simply beat the defense down the court. The Bearcats really not hustling down the court. Gonzalez takes this ball and he goes past Warren. Aritzniuk is down there by himself, and then Gavin Grant. This is what you expect of your senior players in tight situations. Grant just with the great spin move to the basket. He's got the size and strength to finish that play and does so very effectively. He's got a big grin on his face. Certainly, you can understand why.
I think when you look at that number right there, 13 assists on 19 field goals made, that would please any coach. Very unselfish team tonight. Getting a nice job done from everybody, not just the point guard. 2.5 to play. Nice spin move. Sykes with the left hand. Oh, Mr. Hickson went to school on that play.
Hickson's got those 4 personal fouls, but at this point in the game, I don't know how careful you can be.
Yeah. Because the lead now back down to 5.
Now I think that Cincinnati really needs to try to put a lot of pressure on Javier Gonzalez. He's the backup point guard. You really need to make him feel the heat.
Then you have Warren and Vaughn. Warren a senior, Vaughn a sophomore. Grant from the outside, and he buries the 3.
What a big shot that was.
Gavin Grant draining the 3-pointer. He's got 13 tonight. The lead stretched to 8. No, whistle.
Offensive foul.
Offensive foul underneath.
Illegal screen. The NC State defense has worked really, really hard. It's tough for these guys to come off the screens.
Well, I didn't see it if that was it. Well, Williamson comes back into the lineup. His team trailing by 8, 1:43 to play. Fells almost drags the foot. Throws this up for a prayer. Grant takes it away. He's already hit the big 3.
That's twice in this game.
Yeah.
Grant has made basically impossible catches to save turnovers.
Grant sees the double, gets rid of it quickly to Hickson. No, whistle before that. Debbie, you have any update on Farnold DeGan on his injury?
Yeah, out of the locker room, guys. DeGan is being iced right now. They're calling it a sprained knee. He is going to probably have an MRI for sure tomorrow, but he will not return to the game, obviously. It's a tough injury for NC State to suffer right there, but they seem to be hanging on, and he's come out of the locker room now to finish the game with his teammates on the bench.
Well, that's a good sign, and the MRI, of course, tomorrow. Hopefully that young man who's played a stellar game tonight with 9 points, 3 assists.
Well, hopefully he's okay. NC State appears to me to be the kind of a team that's starting to put things together a little bit, and you certainly don't want to have an injury to one of your key guys when maybe you just think you're starting to roll.
6 of 9.
But the interesting thing, DeGan goes out of the game, and the person who basically took over was Gavin Grant. You know, made a couple of big plays, and that one play that he just made where he took that ball away from a defender on a bad pass in a turnover situation. Won't go in the box score anywhere, but it's a big play by Gavin Grant.
And he's had a couple of those tonight, as Hickson doesn't get either one. 1:18 to play, 8-point margin.
Well, you got to score in a hurry now. Doesn't matter whether it's 3 or 2, but it's got to be fast.
Vaughn pulls the trigger, and he buries the 3. We're down to a 5-point game and a quick timeout. You said they got to do it quickly. Cincinnati now with 2 timeouts. North Carolina State also with 2. Here's the 3 again.
Vaughn much more active on this particular offensive sequence. Catches the ball, gets around the screen. Fells that time goes underneath the screen. See, Vaughn's happy about that. Now it's still a 5-point game. They've got a chance, but they've got to force a turnover. You know, they do not have enough time to allow NC State to come down and run the 35 seconds off the shot clock. So this is the situation where you have to get a turnover. And keep in mind what we were talking about, Ron. They've got so many guys with 4 personal fouls.
Right.
They hardly have anybody over there who can afford to give one.
Coming up after the game, we'll go to the FSN Final Score studio in Los Angeles for updates and highlights of the day in college basketball. That's coming up right after our game right here on FSN. And here is the pressure you talked about.
Now, Miller is in the game, and I think he's in the game to foul somebody. I certainly think I would give Gonzalez a chance at the free throw line if he gets the ball.
Mitchell Tripp going over the court.
That's the guy foul right there.
Vaughn fouls Gonzalez again. That'll be Number 3 on Deontay Vaughn. Gonzalez will go to the line, 2 of 4. Making one of his last trip.
See, there's not enough time left in the game for Cincinnati to be particular about who commits the foul.
Right. He gets the first. Nice roll.
That's so much for Mick Cronin's strategy right there.
Yeah. Vaughn comes back in, as does Warren.
But I think that's what we were talking about. You've got to make that young point guard feel the heat in this situation. See how he responds. Responded very well.
Cool.
Now, if he's going to do that, you really have to come down and get a 3. You've got to try to crawl closer in this game.
54 seconds left. 2 timeouts left. The 3 by Davis off the mark. Whistle. There's the quick foul on Fells.
Davis claiming he got fouled on that 3-point attempt.
That foul's on Vaughn. He now has 4 personal fouls, which with 48.5 seconds, it's maybe a moot point at this portion of the contest. And they're saying, let's go, guys. Let's get this game going. So you
he didn't call a timeout, and nobody fouled out of the game, so
I guess somebody called the timeout.
No, I think Mick Cronin actually felt like that was the 5th foul.
Oh, yeah.
There's been some odd things he's happened out here tonight.
Yeah. And here is Fells at the line. 8 of 9 from the stripe, 12 points tonight. Williamson goes out. Sykes comes back in.
Looking for shooters now. You really don't have time to play around with 2-point shots. You got to come down and get a quick 3.
Just as cool as can be with those long arms. Fells gets them both. The lead is up to 9. Final 45 seconds. They got to do something. Vaughn. That pair will be answered.
You've got to be kidding me.
Oh my.
You can't guard that any better than Courtney Fells just did. These guys just simply don't quit. They do not go away. Obviously, you're looking for the 3-point shot. Fells knows what you're doing. He doesn't really leave Vaughn. The ball's just tossed over his head, and Vaughn knocks it down. This is an amazing play. Fells is right there.
You know, we talked about Deontay Vaughn only getting 6 touches in that first half. The second half, he's 5 of 7. He's got 19 points in the ball game. And there was a point early in the second half we're thinking this guy better get going. He has, but the lead is still at 6. 39.7 left. Cincinnati with 1 timeout. North Carolina State still with 2.
One thing that North Carolina State has done very well for the most part all evening long is avoid the turnover, and that's what they have to do right now. Cincinnati in a position, they've got to go for the steal. If they don't get the steal, they've got to foul immediately. There's not enough time left to be particular about who you foul.
My, they had the steal, couldn't hold on to it. Costner, not a very good pass. Alvin Mitchell was standing right there. We'll try it again. Grant beats the defense. This could be poster time.
Now Grant's smart enough to know it's not poster time. It's time to make a basket.
Inside Warren, no. Rebound, Williamson, another offensive rebound and another putback. He's got 13. And Cincinnati will burn, I think, their final timeout. Lead is cut to 6.
This is a kind of a situation where you've got to deny the inbounds pass, and if you give up the long pass, well, that's just what happens. And Grant has an opportunity maybe to do something fancy, but elects just to go up and dunk the ball. The most important thing there is the 2 points, and he got them.
You know, Debbie, one thing that Sidney Knoll needs to do, he needs to know he can take off the jacket on the sideline, but he is quite animated, isn't he? tell you can hear it over here. That's funny.
Well, we have seen, Debbie, a couple of times in this game where the players have actually stopped because they thought it was the referee's whistle.
Yeah. Well, he's got
their attention for sure. There's no question about it.
I think he does. Hickson tonight playing in foul trouble for a lot of the night, but for Sidney Lowe's squad, what they've done is they've been able to be very successful from the free throw line. 35 of 48 from the stripe. 10 of 14 for Cincinnati.
48 free throws is a lot. But again, Cincinnati's been trying to pressure and come back from behind, and in those situations you tend to foul a lot. And North Carolina State's been attacking the basket.
Here comes the pressure again.
You got to foul him immediately.
And they finally do as the flame starts to flicker. Darnell Wilkes commits Cincinnati's 35th foul of the ball game.
35 fouls? Wow.
More fouls committed than field goals made by either team.
35?
Oh, goodness. Just a reminder, in just a couple of minutes, we'll send you to our studios in Los Angeles for FSN Final Score. And if you were wondering how your team did, they'll give you all the updates and highlights of the day in college basketball. And the Patriots, we understand, have gone to 15-0, beat the Miami Dolphins today. Will they go 16-0?
Well, 16-0 actually doesn't mean anything, Ron.
No, it doesn't, not unless you win the whole enchilada.
The only thing that means anything is 19-0.
That's right. This is the final 10 seconds. North Carolina State will win their third game in a row. The losing streak for Cincinnati, despite a valiant effort, will go to 5. North Carolina State now 7-3 overall, 4-1 at home. Cincinnati drops to 4-7 as they continue to struggle. But they had I'll tell you, as far as energy and intensity, Dan, you can't fault Cincinnati one bit.
Well, they just, Mick Cronin told us they were a little bit offensively challenged and they had opportunities. They cut the game down to a 3-point lead in the second half, but they just weren't able to score the bucket when they needed it to get over the hump. So it's a great effort.
But they come up on the short end of the stick, 85-77. They trailed by as many as 12 in the first half, cut it to 3 in the second half. Had a couple of opportunities to get even closer on that. We're not able to do it. North Carolina State wins at 85-77. Debbie Antonelli standing by with Sidney Lowe.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. Coach, a lot of full court pressure. How about the toughness of your team being able to make plays late?
I thought our guys did a great job of just keeping the composure. You know, we had a couple of turnovers, but they kept the composure. And then, you know, we read the defense and threw it over the top a couple of times, got some easy baskets, and then we made some free throws down the stretch.
Your offensive efficiency, you guys shot over 51%. You only had 10 turnovers. You took really good care of the basketball, especially with DeGan going out late. How important is it, and how much economy of your offense is really starting to flow?
You know, it's coming along. It really is. And I think when they went man-to-man late in the game, we were able to execute and got a couple of easy baskets on that. And our guys, you know, they're learning it. They're getting it down. And to be able to hold on to this game with all this pressure, it was just tremendous. It was a great job.
Gavin Grant late, his willingness to make the big plays. How important is it for your senior to step up when the game's on the line?
It's very important. You know, he's not afraid. You know, he's not afraid to make free throws. He's not afraid to try to make the big shot. And I think him being on the floor as another ball handler and creating for us certainly helped us out.
All right, Coach, congratulations. Thank you very much. NC State, 85-77, the final. Stick around. Gavin Grant's going to be with us on the other side.